Ginger was now under long-term contract with RKO, starting with The Gay Divorcee. But some things never change, and Ginger's hard work ethic continued. Throughout their 9-movie, 6-year partnership period, Ginger appeared in 10 movies without Fred, 4 before she signed the long-term contract, of which 3 were for other studios. Starting here, all the rest would be RKO. This is a good example of her hectic schedule. Fred and Ginger had just finished their first big movie together, The Gay Divorcee. Fred worked very hard during the making of their movies, but then always took time off afterwards. 5 days after that movie was completed, Ginger started on this film. Romance in Manhattan is a charming romantic comedy that Ginger sparkles in throughout. It is a romantic comedy, yes, but also has several dramatic scenes where Ginger's character faces heartbreaking circumstances, and her performances are special and prove her ability as a dramatic actress. Francis Lederer was a big star in Germany. He came to America to star on Broadway and stayed when conditions in Germany deteriorated, especially for Jewish people. MGM's Irving Thalberg planned on making Lederer the biggest star in Hollywood, but then passed away. Lederer never made it big, but he made a fortune in real estate. He founded the American National Academy of Performing Arts. Jimmy Butler was a child star and is great in this movie. He stood out in several early movies. He died serving his country in World War II in France in 1945. It also featured the consummate character actor J. Farrell McDonald, who appeared in over 300 movies between 1911 and 1951, and would appear again with Ginger several other times. One thing that stands out in this movie is the cinematography. Unlike many of her early movies, they took the time, and Ginger is beautiful, sometimes stunning, throughout. In other instances, Ginger praises the cinematographer, and she also should have praised Nicholas Musuraca, who was nominated for 1 Oscar for his fine work. He had done Chance at Heaven with Ginger, but it also takes having the director allow the cinematographer the time he needs. Ginger was with director Stephen Roberts again in Star of Midnight, another movie where Ginger sparkles. After doing countless shorts since 1923, this was his 8th movie, but then he passed away in 1936 at only 40 years old. Lederer, a Czechoslovakian immigrant, is thrilled to finally make it to America. At Ellis Island, though, he is informed the entry fee has been raised from $50, which he has, to $200, and is sent back. Desperate, he jumps ship and barely makes it ashore, losing his wallet in the process. He is thrilled as he walks the streets of New York City, but eventually he is tired and hungry. A police officer moves him along, so he goes into an alley to rest. At the end of the alley, chorus girls are eating, and when they leave, well, he is really hungry. Ginger walks in, realizes the situation, and offers him more food. They talk, and Lederer tells Ginger she is beautiful. As they leave, the same officer, McDonald, who knows Ginger, checks in on them, but Ginger vouches for Lederer. She tells Lederer to come along. Her brother might be able to get him a job. Ginger goes up to her apartment first to get past the landlady and is greeted by her brother and 2 government officials. Her brother has missed several days of school, and they threaten to take action. It's not that Butler, her brother, is a bad kid. Just the opposite. He sees his 19-year-old sister struggle to support them and plays hooky to sell newspapers to bring some money into the house. After they leave, Butler agrees to get Lederer a job selling papers. Ginger sets up Lederer to sleep on the roof and is surprised how he is so thrilled with the view and what he believes America stands for and will mean for him. They have a nice conversation about his dreams and her reality. Ginger is captured beautifully in these scenes. As Ginger retires for the evening, she asks her brother if he thought New York was such a special place, and he says, "Sure, we got both the Giants and the Yanks." Letter has developed a teasing friendship with Officer McDonald. Butler has set up Letter for night school. Later, he tells Letter about all the guys courting Ginger, and Letter is taken aback. Then Butler tells him he made it all up. Things are going nicely for them, even out to dinner. Ginger thinks the guy is coming over to hit on her, but it is the guy who recovered Letter's wallet, and she is embarrassed as her brother laughs. Letter denies he was pulled out of the water. Letter kids with McDonald, and then asks about his friend, the illegal alien, and if someone helping him could get in trouble. Ginger's show closes, but then Letter brings good news with his new job as a cab driver. He tells Ginger he will pay the bills, and for the first time hints that he loves her. Ginger accepts, saying, "I am a good cook." Again, things go well until the cab drivers go on strike. He comes in finding Ginger totally domesticated and happy, and tries to keep the news from her. Ginger teases him, saying she is going to marry a millionaire, but her kidding cuts a little too close to home for Letter, and when he does the same back to Ginger, she is also troubled. Finally, frustrated with the tension, Letter grabs Ginger and says, "The only millionaire you're going to marry is me." Ginger asks, "You turning caveman on me?" And he replies yes, and kisses Ginger. She likes it. Butler rushes in and asks about the strike, and now Ginger knows. She worries, "What are we going to do? None of us earning anything." Butler proudly states, "I'm earning something. We can eat, anyway." Gotta love this kid. Letter declares he has enough money in the bank to make it through several strikes. As the strike drags on, though, his savings disappear, money he was saving towards getting his immigration status straightened out. The government officials are snooping around, asking if Letter lives with Ginger. Butler starts cutting school again to earn money, and a truant officer arrests him. Ginger has to rush to court, and is terrified before the magistrate. A lawyer tries to drum up business with Letter in court. Ginger gets caught lying about her age, and then is questioned about Letter living in the apartment. He comes up, explains he sleeps on the roof, but is helping Ginger financially. The judge tells Ginger she's going to have to give up Butler, and she says, "There's nothing wrong with me. I'm decent." The judge says she is, and one day when she is married she can get her brother back. Ginger is devastated. Butler puts on a good show for Ginger that going to the orphanage will be fine, but it is too much for Letterer, who storms out, and for Ginger, who breaks down sobbing. Letterer goes to McDonald for advice on marriage procedures. McDonald kids him. "I know it's Sylvia, poor unlucky girl." But then he remembers to add they will want his naturalization papers. Ginger awaits Letterer's return, but he goes on to the roof alone to think. He goes to the lawyer he met, but does not have the $50 fee. As soon as he walks out, the sleazy lawyer plans on turning him in for the $100 reward. Letterer goes back to the cab company to work regardless of the strike. He calls the lawyer telling him he is working, can he pay overtime, and the lawyer uses the opportunity to get his information. When Letterer gets back to the apartment, Ginger is planning on running away with her brother. He asks Ginger to marry him. She thanks him but turns him down. "I couldn't accept that kind of a marriage, not even to keep Frank." She lets Letterer know she is upset with him for avoiding her last night. Letterer tells her how much he loves her. She starts to sob, and then agrees to marry him. Letterer gets all beat up for driving the cab, but will continue. A government official comes to the door to take Butler away. Ginger tries to argue, without avail. Letterer comes home from work to find Ginger distraught. When the subject of their marriage comes up, Letterer tells Ginger the truth about his immigration status. Then Lederer is arrested. At the station, he finds out his lawyer turned him in. Ginger tries to argue, and the officer is repulsed by what the sleazy lawyer has done, but they have to hold Lederer. MacDonald walks in at the perfect moment. With his referral, Lederer asks if they can be married before he is deported. MacDonald says he might not be able to get back in, and Ginger says then she will go to him. The sergeant agrees. The lawyer insists Lederer be arrested, and then stupidly threatens the sergeant. MacDonald gets an idea. In the best comedic scene in a movie without a lot of comedy, the Irish cops go after the lawyer. I should reveal I am 100% Irish and have many police officers in my family, and that affects how much I really like this scene. They call in favors all around town. MacDonald pulls over the lawyer and arrests him for drunk driving. Back at the station, he easily passes the sobriety test, and they declare him drunker than a hoot owl. They pile on the charges: resisting an officer and Bolshevik agitator. In the meantime, Ginger and Lederer are getting married as the police contacts also push through his immigration status. "Oh, Pete, before you went into the immigration department, you had a heart." Ginger says, "I do," as Lederer is vaccinated. MacDonald even takes the $200 fee from the lawyer. A few more details, and it is done, and they live happily ever after. Please like and subscribe.